Welcome back to the Mod Addict. So it's that time where I got to do something that I don't want to do. It's not performance oriented. It's not fun. It's not cool. But as you can see from the intro, yeah, this thing has bad wheel bearings. It clunks. It makes noise. And as you can tell there, I was just grabbing the wheel, moving it back and forth. In and out of tie rods are good. So that's all it can be, right? These are probably 30-something years old. I've already got them ordered, regardless if they was good or bad. I'm changing them anyway, but that just proves they're bad. So let's get into this. All right, so I took the cap off. I took the cotter pin out. I took the little castle thing off. But if you look, I haven't touched this. It's not even close to being... You're supposed to tighten it down and then slightly loosen it. There should be still tension on it. I shouldn't be able to do this by hand. It does look, that was a new looking cotter pin. A lot of this stuff looks new, so I think whoever did it just didn't put the proper preload or whatever on it. But the fact I can do that by hand, I've never had one I can just unscrew by hand. So you're supposed to tighten it down, and it's something like 200 foot-pounds, and then you give it a quarter of a turn back. Again, that should not be loose. Or, I've never had one loose. So now that I got the washer off, if you look in there, there is no grease in any of this. All the grease was on the outside of the washer. It's pretty bad. Yeah, so this bearing, if you look, like, I shouldn't be able to pull that up like that. You can tell where one side is wore right here, but the outside hasn't been touched. Phone's not going to focus, but there's a wear line there where the inside was wearing way worse. And like I said, this cradle shouldn't be this loose on the race. So get this looked at in here. I still got to get all this off to look at to get the back one out. I just wanted to see how it was looking in there. That's all. All right, I flipped the rotor off. I took the seal off. Wherever I did. This comes with new seals. Just compared bearings. Notice this one says USA. They're the same size. This one looked a lot better than the outside one, but I got a part. I'm going to go ahead and clean all this out, put new grease in, show you what I got here. And you cannot read enough good reviews about Red and Tacky. I mean, this is supposed to be the best there is, and that's hoping to get some life out of this. So I'm going to clean this up and go from there. Alright, so I took and tightened this down, and then I come back about a quarter of a turn. As you can tell, I can't unscrew this with my hands, but it still spins. If you feel like it's too much drag, you can loosen up a little bit more, but don't go too loose. Alright, new wheel bearing. Let's see if it makes that noise. Of course it don't. Okay, this one had some play in it, not as bad as the other one, but I will show y'all this nut is tight. I cannot loosen that by hand. That's how it should be. It wasn't as bad as that side, but it still does make a clunking noise, so I'm going to get all this off and go ahead and replace these. This is the passenger side, by the way. That's the old inside one. This is the outside one for the passenger side. And you can see it's in better shape, but it's still one of the plastic cages. And one thing I did notice is the grease on the driver's side was really dark brown. This one has more of a red tint to it. So this one is not as burnt as that one was. That one was obviously pretty burnt where the grease was turning brown. Also, you got to be careful in Florida. I don't know if y'all can see this, but that's you know, it's all spider sheddings. There's a bigger spider around here somewhere because he's done shed twice. Again, it's kind of the same story with the inside of the passenger side. You can tell it has fresher grease. Now, there is some of it that is black, it is scorched, but it does have fresher grease. What it looked like, because the washer on that side had a ton of grease on the outside, I think they took that dust cap off and just figured if they crammed grease in there, it was going to help, because it was already bad, not knowing that that's blocking the actual bearing opening from getting any grease. That would have been a band-aid at best anyway. So I'm going to get this cleaned out. Got a disclaimer. I am not replacing the races. I've never had to do that, and I have races. It came with a kit, but I am not replacing them. Like I said, it's never been something that I've had to go back, and it's something I've never regret. I'm sure there's somebody that's not did it and regretted not replacing the races, but yeah, hasn't been me. I've had good luck with reusing old races. If you don't know, this bearing surface here that it rides on is called a race. Oh, that's one right here. This is what the new one looks like. It would go right in there, and that's what the bearing rides on. It's not wore, don't have any grooves, doesn't have scratches, so I'm reusing it. Alright, both sides done. Like I said, I didn't record the play, but there's no play in this side now. There's no play in this side now. Very solid. I think that's going to help a lot. I was getting a lot of clunk noise up front, and when I grabbed the wheel and shook it and heard all that clunk, I knew. As dry as that one bearing was, and like I said, they packed all the stuff on the outside of the bearing, or the washer, so that tells me that they thought they was, I don't know, band-aiding it with some grease, and didn't realize the washer was stopping it from getting to the actual bearing. So if you look, there is an opening in the front, and you can kind of put stuff in there and kind of help it out, but like I said, if that bearing is blocking it, it's not getting there. And there was a lot packed in there. The insides was not near as bad as the outsides, but the driver outside was the worst. I mean, it was terrible. But now everything's done. That's one less thing I have to worry about now. That should be good for, I don't know how old them are. I mean, I haven't seen a plastic cage on a bearing in forever, so these could very well be like factory bearings. It's a Timekin. I think that's what came factory. Regardless, they're old. Not having a steel cage on it, or metal cage, whatever they're made out of now. It's supposed to be steel, but you know, Chinesium. It did say made in America, so that's another plus. I think I got these from Detroit Axle. Not 100% sure, but I do want to move the car around the yard and see if I get less noise. I'm thinking if I still have noise, these I don't know how well you can see that. Can you see that? Let's see. Get this camera on. Yeah, that blue right there. That is the coilover hat, and it's got bearings in it. And sometimes they get old or bad, so when you're turning, they kind of seize up. So after some research, yes, these are the factory Ford Timekin things. There's nothing terribly wrong with these. I just, like, I haven't seen them, and God, I don't know. I've heard about them. I don't even think I've ever seen them in person, if I'm being honest. I don't remember seeing plastic cages. I know it's a thing of the past. Even the bearings I ordered come with metal cages. The back ones have metal cages. All the purpose that it serves is to keep these in place, but if you tighten it down too much, these can crack, and these rollers can move in ways that they shouldn't be moving. I don't know if you can tell, but like, I'm barely, that's the weight of the thing. I'm not squeezing it, and it's already kind of warped to that side. So if I just a little bit of pressure, you can see, and these can fall out. So it don't take much to crack one of these housings. They, you know, getting hot and brittle and changing. But like I said, if you look, you can see a line where it was wearing differently. One side was wearing differently from the other side. I don't know how well y'all can see that, but right about there. And see there's a line, and not sure how well it's getting it, but this side of the bearing looks different than this side of the bearing. This side's brown and like scorched looking. This side is not, and pretty much greaseless. So I'm going to take the car, back it up a little bit, move it around, and see if it makes the same popping noise that I'm trying to address with this. Alright, it's kind of loud in here because the car hadn't fully warmed up, but the noise, I'm leaning more toward coils. Hear it when I dropped off the edge. Now listen when I go forward. Hear the pop. Pop, pop. So, but when I turn the wheel at them, I'm not getting pops. So, I don't know. I'll have to address this, but basically when the car hits something that's putting force on the car, the suspension, that's when I get the pops. So, but at least I don't have to worry about it being the wheel bearings now. Now the BMR control arms are new, so it has new ball joints and control arm bushings. They are a lot more solid, so that could just be the issue, is I'm not used to, you know, it's everything's urethane, so it could just be that. But everything is greased and everything is new, so I don't think it's a ball joint issue. That's why I'm kind of leaning toward the coilovers, just noise in general with that. So that'll have to be the next thing I addressed, but won't be today. Another thing I addressed, didn't really film it because I didn't know what was going on, and I was already fixing it before I realized I should be recording. But anyway, the LRB door panels, my wires were plugged in. For some reason, I still didn't have my windows working, so I couldn't figure it out. And what it was is one of the pins in the connector had slid out, so I had to take the connector port, slide the pin in, put everything back together, and put it all back together. But you can see everything's back together. I do need to vacuum this bad boy out, but yeah, making progress. Like I said, I want different seats. I don't want racing seats. I want like SN95 seats or stock Fox seats, but something better than this setup. One more thing I had to do is my drain plug gaskets was leaking, so I had to fix that. So that's why you see oil there. So remind me that I need to check my oil. Can y'all do that? Thank you. So anyways, guys, yeah, it's not always the fun stuff that you need to do. Like I said, I needed my winter to roll down, and I needed to figure out what was the cause. And I knew the wheel bearings was bad. Like I said, there was a lot of play in that wheel. There was a lot of play in the passenger wheel, just not near as bad as the driver's side. And it, like I said, it looked like somebody tried to mayonnaise it. They was going to just pack some grease in there, but they didn't take the washer off, so the grease couldn't get anywhere. It was just all packed in underneath the cap. It's just one of the things. It is what it is. But there's right way to do wheel bearings, wrong way. There's, you know, everybody has their own trick. I've always been taught is you torque them down, and it's usually like 200 foot-pounds or something crazy. So I hit them with an impact. I just dug it till it feels not like ramming on. I just till it feels firm, and then I back it off about a quarter, spin it. It should have a little drag, but it shouldn't be like tight. So that's basically, you seat the bearings and then you let it out a little to have the tolerance in there. Pretty much all it is. So again, this is the Mod Addict, and my neighbor's kids are crying yet again. That's all they ever do. But yeah, thanks for watching, and we out.
I won't turn around, I done made it this far. Look back now, that wouldn't be too smart. Shoot for the stars even when it gets hard. Put my faith in the Lord with the 60 bars. I won't turn around, I done made it this far. Look back now, that wouldn't be too smart. Shoot for the stars even when it gets hard. Put my faith in the Lord with the 60 bars. I won't turn around, I won't turn around. No matter how far I go, I'll never come.